Thank you, Alex. Let's start sharing the screen and about that. Good afternoon, everyone. So we are very excited to have you all in this user acceptance kickoff meeting for our new modernized PIMS system, which is named as a data collection platform. So this is a new modernized classic PIMS. This is a new data collection platform system, and we all are here to kick off the user acceptance testing, which is going to be there for the next 2 weeks. As a quick introduction, myself, Sudhanshu Sethia. I am from the project implementation group. We have our friends from program. I have Patrick, Selena, Sarah, Christine, and from the HSD division. And we have our HRSA Technology Office representatives, Abiba, Alex from HRSA staff. Any questions, or Patrick, Selena, you would like to add something here? Or you want to have some specific introduction from someone?
Yeah, I think we're good.
All right, if anyone has any questions regarding the functionality, we have all the technology group, HRSA technology group, and the program office here, and we are from the vendor group. So any questions, please feel free to raise your hand or type in the chat window at any point during this meeting. All right, so just to give you a quick rundown of what are we going to discuss in this meeting today. So first, to get started with, we will provide you an overview of the enhancements. What enhancements are coming in this August release of new modernized data collection system? What can you expect from September onwards in the production? Now, what is this user acceptance testing? Some of you might have done in the past, some of you might be new to this user acceptance testing. So what is this user acceptance testing? What is the process to complete the user acceptance testing? What are we expecting from the participants? What documents are we going to share? So all these details about the user acceptance testing will be shared in this meeting. Now, why are we going to do this user acceptance testing? So it will provide you all an opportunity to test the system to see how this new look and feel will be in the production. In addition to the documentation, what is this UAT about, what we are going to add in the August release, we will be providing the demo for the live system. And when we say live system, this is not a production system, but the functionality, what functionality you can access in this year's submission. So we'll be providing you the demo, end-to-end demo for this new modernized system. In the last but not least, if you have any questions, you can ask towards the end, or you can type in the chat window at any point during this meeting. So what is coming in this new modernized system? This is a major technology upgrade. I'm sure most of you have been using our classic post performance improvement management system. We call it out as in a PIMS. So most of you have accessed that system. But now with this technology upgrade, which is getting upgraded to new robust Salesforce system, what does that mean to the end user? So it has an improved user experience. You will see much better look and feel. You will see improved usability, how you can have the guided interaction with the system. So what you will see everywhere, like a new user interface, whether it is like now you are trying to submit the report, you are trying to enter the data, you are trying to validate the data, or how the change request report is coming. The logins are same as an EHP. You will be still logging in using the login.gov, but as soon as the users are going to log in, they'll see the new portal. And as we said, new means better. Better user experience, improved usability, and the guided interactions will be there for you to give the much better user experience. Now, why are we doing this user acceptance testing? What is the purpose? Anyways, everyone is going to use this live system in this year submissions from September onwards. So we had a multiple requirement session with the program office in the past. We have collected the requirement, and based on those requirements, our team has developed the new system. So now what we are looking for is the testing from the end user, where the end user can test and let us know, confirm like all these implementation has been done based on the requirement collected in the past. And you are seeing what you are expecting in the final system. What are we targeting from this user acceptance testing? What we are trying to find out is your feedback. I mean, the feedback can be positive. You may see like, okay, oh, this is, wow, this is a new system. And you may see, okay, no, this feature need to be improved to bring the better usability or performance. So please add your feedback the way whenever you get a chance to test the system in this upcoming 2-week testing window. Please provide your feedback, and we are more than happy to discuss your feedback with the program office and the HRSA technology office and prioritize accordingly. So now regarding the schedule, when the environment is going to open and when we can see this new live system. So the presentation is going on right now. We'll provide you the demo of the system and we'll let you know what all documents you can expect. This meeting will last till 3 p.m. But then afterwards, we'll be sending you all the documentation in the email, and the testing can start right after the documents are sent. And the testing environment will be open till July 21st. That being said, the next 2 weeks, we are opening UAT environment for the next 2 weeks. Does that mean like the testing will need 2 weeks? No, the testing can be done just in an hour or two. However, the testing window is there for the 2 weeks so that you can test based on your schedule at any point of time during this next 2 weeks window. So this is a quick overview of why we are talking about UAT. What is this user acceptance testing? And just to reiterate, it is a major big milestone before we deploy the product in production, because ultimately end users are the one who are going to use the system. So it's recommended for them to provide us the feedback now than finding any specific things later in the production. So it's more you guys can test, more the participants can participate, more robust the system will come out in production. Now, what this user acceptance testing is not about. This is not a new requirement session. So we are not expecting any major feature requirements. However, if during the test you feel or you see like, okay, no, it's better to have this feature in the system, or any new validations or any kind of usability issue you find out, please bring it back to our attention. Send your feedbacks and comment. We will again discuss with the program and the HRSA technology office to prioritize based on the discussions. One thing to mention is this testing is not happening on live system. This is a test environment. So all the data, what you will see is the test data. So you might not see, let's say if you are checking at the previous reporting period data, you might not see the real data. However, the functionality, the flow, the screens will be exactly the same as a production. So let's say if you think like, okay, you are going to add this value against some specific measure. So this is not a production, so we'll not save that data. So that being said, feel free to play around the system, even if this values you are entering in the forms need not to match with what you are going to add in production. This data is not going to get saved or going to get reported. This is a purely test environment. So that being said, you may see the username as a mock username when you enter into the system. So as this is all test data. Again, this is not a substitute for training. There will be a separate adoption and training sessions where we will have all these webinars conducted and we will communicate to all the grantees or all the external users and internal users how the system can be used. However, we are having office hours, support office hour in our next 2 weeks UAT window. These office hours will be conducted every Tuesday and Thursday from 2 to 3 p.m. That being said, it will be there on July 11th, July 13th, 18th, and 20th. The meeting invite will be sent out later today. So based on the recommendation from the program office, we have kept the timing, keeping in mind like people from West Coast can also participate. In case you see any concerns regarding the timings, please reach out to program office and loop us in so that we can do the necessary adjustments. But if you see any issue while doing the UAT testing, you need not to wait till the office hours or but just email us at any point of time. We will get back to you as early as possible. So as we mentioned, so all what we are expecting from the participants here, expectations are will be providing you the document, which we are calling it as in a UAT script, which is nothing but step-by-step description document. Let me share that document so that you know how will it look like. So this is a step-by-step document. We name it as an UAT script document. This document will have a detail of how you will see like, okay, this is the step. This is the step you are supposed to follow. Then what is the expected result? If you see the result coming as an expected result, please add the pass in the comment section. But if you see the result is not as the expected result, please provide your details like how did you get there and what error you saw on the screens or screenshot. So add those kind of detail in the comment section that will help our QC team, quality assurance team, to reproduce those issues and avoid some back and forth. So this document will have details about how you are supposed to follow the step and with the screenshot. This will be an alignment with the demo which we are going to give right now. And in just a few minutes. And this session will be recorded and can be shared and will be shared with all the participants. And the same thing during the office hours too. Please feel free to share your screens and ask us any questions if you have any questions about like how to move from one step to another step. So now, once you have followed all the UAT script, you have your feedback ready. So please provide us your feedback by July 21st, 8 p.m. EST. This will help us in consolidating the feedback on time, and this will help us in our deployment in production on time. in case you are not able to complete it on time and you are running couple of hours late or something like that, please email us so that we can make the necessary adjustment. The environment will be available every day from 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. EST. So this timing has been kept considering Westcott people in mind, but just in case if you are not available during the work hours and planning to test either early morning, late nights, please do let us know in advance so that we are doing the necessary adjustment and the system is not down due to deployment or some other activities. Again, while testing, if you find out any blockers, any issues, need not to wait till the office hours or like July 21st. Send us an email right away. Our team is there to help you all. So we will provide you the response as early as possible. Point out any potential issues, any blocker at any point of time during the UAT. But if you see any non-blocker issues and you are making a list, please send us that feedback list no later than July 21st. Any questions so far on what is this UAT or why are we doing that, or any questions? All right, if no questions, then so how a participant can participate in this UAT? So the first prerequisite step is every participant has to create an account in testlogin.gov website. This is exactly the same how you have been using the system in the past, but this is not a production system. So this is a test system. That's the reason to test in the UAT environment, the account must need to be created in testlogin.gov website. And when we say this is a this document has been shared before, and now this document will be shared again with all other documentation. You see, this document has step-by-step detail of how you can create your account in testlogin.gov website. So this account can be created using the email IDs which have been shared in this data sheet, as we have used the same email IDs to authorize them in the Salesforce, HRSA Salesforce application. So you will see we will be sharing this data sheet as part of the documentation which will be sent out after the kickoff sessions. So this sheet will have one more column here for the grant number. So based on the region, we have assigned the grant numbers to all the external users. Only one thing to notice here is, since all the external grantees are participating, in addition to that, there is some other participants are also there who may test the some of the grants. So some of the grants may be in a sharing mode. We'll be adding all those details in this data sheet before we send it out. And now, after you have created your account in the testlogin.gov website, you have accessed the system using your credentials as in the data sheet. You can see your grant as mentioned in the data sheet. Then please follow the step-by-step UAT script document and record your feedback in the comment section. Once you have completed the UAT script, please send us that document via email, and that email also will be mentioned in this kickoff deck after the kickoff meeting. So what is there? What is the high level scope? Like what exactly you will be testing, right? So as an SORH external users or grantees, we'll be testing the form, how our SORH forms looks like, how you can validate the data while entering, how you can submit your report, or what all emails you will be getting as a recipients. So you will be able to test all that. And as a grantee, there will be a grantee raw data report for that specific grant which is assigned to that user. So please make sure this report is also working as you are expecting it to work in production. Now, in addition to all these features, PDF is the another feature which is going to be available in production. However, for this user acceptance testing, it is still work in progress. So that being said, that is not available right now for testing. However, this will be there in the live system in September onwards. And the details and the update communication will be sent out to the program office and HRSA technology office for like when it will be ready for users to test. Now we will be sending out a bunch of documents. What are those documents? So as I already presented, there will be a document which we call it as a pre-UAT grantee registration document. This will have a description detail of how you can create an account in testlogin.gov website. Then this kickoff presentation will be shared with the recording, and then step-by-step detailed document, which we are calling it as an UAT script. And then the last one is the data sheet, where you have detail of the URL and what grants you will be accessing, what username you will be logging in as. So that data sheet will be shared. After the UAT is completed, we'll be consolidating all the feedback, and in the week of 24th, we'll be discussing that feedback with the program office and HRSA technology office to prioritize. So that feedback document will be reviewed and shared with the program office, and then based on the discussions, it can be shared with the larger group too. So now we have a very detailed step-by-step document in a step-by-step description in our UAT script document. But overall, just to give if we have to talk about high-level summary, what are we going to test? The first scenario, you are able to log into new modernized PIMS system. You will see in next couple of minutes, you will see in the demo, when you are logging in using your testlogin.gov account, similar to when you log in production, you will see a new system. Exactly, it's totally new system. You are not going to see any EHB screen. So it will be a new modernized Salesforce solution. So you should be able to log in and access your grantee portal. You should be able to click on all the available tabs. And when you say the grantee portal, you should be able to access your report, fill the data, edit your reports, file the validation, validate the data, and then click on submit for approvals. So as a grantee, you should have an access to all your functionality, and the system should work as expected. So these are the major use cases which we are expecting the participants to test. Now, in addition to like a submission of forms, login, grantee portal, there is a report, grantee raw data report. The people who are who have been using the classic PIMS, they can relate to that original grantee raw data report. So the name is same, but other than that, it will give you a new, better user interface. But still, the requirements are same. You should be still able to see all that information in a new modernized look. So please try accessing and downloading that grantee raw data report and confirm that is working as expected. So as we already discussed, so this is how our sample UAT scripts will look like. You will see the step description, expected result, and please add your comment in the comment section. And the data sheet will have the test environment URL, username, password, and the recommended browser details, something. It will look like this. Now for the recommended browser, we are recommending to use the Chrome, Edge, and Firefox, as these are the HRSA recommended browsers. So as we stated before, once after UAT is done, all the feedback will be consolidated and discussed with the program office in a week of July 24. So this is a sample UAT feedback document, how the team will be preparing this document. So before we kickstart the demo, just to reiterate, like PDF functionality is work in progress. Any updates will be provided via email or in the support sessions, but at the moment that is not available for user acceptance testing. Any questions before we start the demo? All right, I'll take this as an no. Sorry. Is anyone saying something? Right, if no other questions, then I'll hand it over to Jerry, who is our business analyst from the project implementation group, and he'll be sharing the demo of the system. Jerry, over to you.
Thank you, Sudhanshu, and thank you everyone who's joining us today. Let me just share my screen. Okay, so I want to start off with talking about login.gov and creating your account in login.gov. When you come to login.gov, you should see a screen like this where you're on the sign in for existing users. You're going to want to click on the create an account option and then enter your email address. Select your default language or select your language, and then check the box to accept their rules of use, and then click submit. This will direct you to check your email. They'll send you out an email to confirm your email address. Just give me 1 minute. I'm going to switch over to my Yahoo email account. And there's the email. Click on that. There it is. Sorry. Login.gov. There it is. So you get an email from login.gov asking you to confirm your email, and you'll click on the confirm email address button. And so now login.gov is looking for you to create a password, a strong password. So you'll create your password, and then you'll confirm your password, and then click continue. And now it's asking you for your authentication method setup. We're going to use two-factor authentication whenever you're logging in. So how do you want that authentication to come? From an authentication application, through text or voice message, backup code, security key, or if you're a government employee, an employee ID. I'm going to go ahead and do the text or voice message option, and then click continue. And now it's going to ask for the phone number that I'm going to use to get the text messages. And I'm choosing the option for a text message rather than a phone call. And then I click send code. And now on my phone, I'm going to receive a code. All right, so I enter that one-time code and then click submit. And I've added my first authentication method. I can add other methods. For now, I'm just going to skip. And now my account is set up with all my information. So at that point, I want to go to the login screen for PIMS, and I have an option to put in an email address and password, but what I want to do is I want to click on XMS. And when I go to sign in, it has my email address and my password, and I click sign in. And again, it's going to send me that one-time code. And click submit. And agree to their terms and continue. And now that we've successfully logged in, the first thing that we see when we're logged in is the Health and Human Services Terms of Service and Privacy Policy. This will come up every time that you log in to the system to report your activities. You're going to want to read through the policy and terms of service. And when you get down to the bottom, you're going to see an option to agree with the policy and terms of service. If you agree, you want to click right here to toggle from I disagree to I agree, and then click next. And then you'll get a message to click finish to continue to access the system. And the next screen you see will welcome you to the HRSA data collection platform. Here on the data collection platform, you're going to see language very similar to what we have now. Between now and the August release, the information you see on the home page here will change, but there will be some information giving you guidance for the work that you're going to be doing within the system, and some form of references that you can use to assist you with your reporting of your activities. The tabs that you have here, you have the home tab, you have your HSD performance reports tab, and you have the data extracts tab. Let's go ahead and click on the HSD performance reports tab. That's where you're going to find your performance reports. And when you click on that tab, it opens up to your recently viewed reports, and it'll show you the following columns. The tracking ID, this is a Salesforce generated ID number. This is how we keep track of your performance reports within Salesforce. The submission name, the grant number, the reporting period, the program name, and the status. You can see we have 3 reports here with the status of change requested, approved, and not started. It defaults to show you your recently viewed, but you can change the list view by clicking on the words recently viewed and choose to see your approved reports or your submitted reports. We don't currently have any submitted, or your in progress reports. And we have 2 reports that are in progress. One is change requested and the other one is not started. So you may not want to have the system default to show you your recently viewed reports every time that you log in. You may want it to show you your in-progress reports or your approved reports or your submitted reports. You can change that default by using the pin option here. I'm going to pin this to show the in-progress reports whenever I come to the performance reports. So I'm going to click on this, and now the in-progress reports are pinned. So if I go to the home page or if I log out, next time I log in and I click on HSD performance reports, it is showing me my in-progress reports. I can still choose my other list view options, but it defaults to show me the in-progress reports. So we have 2 reports here. One has a change requested. That means that it was submitted for approval, but the project officer who reviewed it needed additional information or needed some information changed. So they sent it back with change requested. The other one is not started. So let's look at the not started one first. I'm going to click on this tracking ID number, the HSD number, and that opens up our performance report. In the upper left side, we can see the performance report tracking number, the HSD number. On the upper right-hand side, we can see the submit for approval button. Well, this report isn't ready to be submitted for approval yet because it's not complete. Then we come down to, it's not started yet. Then we come down to the header, and this header is expandable. In the collapsed form of the header, we can see the grant number, the grantee, and the reporting period. If we expand the header, in addition to the grant number, the grantee, and the reporting period, we can see the report due date, the review status, which is not started, and the submitted date, which is blank because this report has not yet been submitted. Below the header, we see the grantee data entry section, and this is where you'll see the forms that are associated with your performance report. For SORH, there's only one form for the report, and so you can view that form, and we have a legend here to show you the status of the form. This red circle means that the form has not yet started. If it had a yellow clock face or orange clock face, that would mean that the report is in progress. And if there was a circle with a green check mark, that would mean that the form is complete. Can you hold on just 1 second for me, please? I'm sorry, thank you. And so with the form, we have the option to click on the view option for the form. This will open the report in read-only mode. The form will open in read-only mode, or we can click on the start option. This will start the report and let us begin working on the report. So if I click on start, I see that the report opens, and the first thing that it opens up to is the public burden statement. And in that public burden statement, we're going to be able to see the OMB control number and the valid date, the date for which, or up until which the OMB control number will no longer be valid. Just above the public burden statement, we have a back to the main screen button here. So if I wanted to go back to the main screen, back to the grantee data entry, I click on that button. And if I want to start my report again, I click on the start button. Below the public burden statement, we have the next button. And to the right here, we have the steps. These are the steps that you'll need to complete for this form before you can submit the report for approval. And each step, other than the public burden statement, each step will have subsections. And in those subsections, you'll address the measures in those subsections to report your activity. So I'm going to go ahead and click the next button to take us to the next step. And that step is the collect and disseminate information step. And we're in form number 1, the state rural health form. So we can see that there at the top to let us know what form we're in. And we have our expandable header again. If I expand it, we can see all the information in the header. That's going to be at the top of the form. So we always, on all the steps, so we have it wherever we're working, we have this for reference. We have our back to main screen button that would take us back to the main screen. And we start to see our subsections. The information disseminated subsection, audience members for listserv subsection, information created or developed subsection, and tool to address a problem in your state subsection are our subsections on the first step. And speaking of the steps, coming over here to the steps, the step that we're currently on has this bright blue circle. The step that we previously viewed has the circle with the check mark. If I want to go back to that step, I can click on it. I can't go forward by clicking on the steps, but I can go back. So I went back to my public burden statement step, and I can do that at any point during filling out this form. I can go from one step back to one of the previous steps. So for the subsections, for some subsections, there will be information for you to help you with what's expected in a particular subsection. In this subsection, it's asking you to input NA if no data is to be reported. And then we come down to the individual measures. If you see a red asterisk next to a measure, that means that that's a required measure. So you have to fill that in before you're going to be able to save this report, or even move on to the next step in the report. So the number of people on the listserv, I'm going to put in that it was 12.5. And then I'm going to move on to the next. And here we see one of our validations. This field only allows whole numbers up to 10 digits, or n/a. So I can either put n/a in, or I can put in a whole number, but I can't put in a number with a decimal point. And then we come to the next field, and we're seeing another validation, which is that if it has a red asterisk, it's a required field. So I'm going to go ahead and put in a number, and I'm going to fill in all of these. And some of our fields, we'll have an option for you to give more details, like a narrative response. This field is looking for description of the number of website hits, and it allows up to 2,000 characters. So you can type in up to 2,000 characters. And if you had more characters than was visible in the screen at the moment, you can expand this box to be able to see all of the information that's been entered in by you or by someone else on your team. Then we come down to our next subsection. There's no note in this subsection, just the measures that need to be addressed. And in this subsection, we're gathering information in a drop-down list as opposed to just typing information into the field. So you have drop-down list choices of yes or no for the first one, and one way or interactive for the second one. And then we come to our third subsection. And once again, we have some direction for you as the grantee to select NA or none if no data is to be reported. And again, this is drop-down list. So you'll choose your drop-down list options, the one that best represents the answer, the information that you're reporting, the activity that you're reporting during this reporting period. And once again, we have our, I'm going to go ahead and copy this. Another field with the asking for a description. And you can expand that field to be able to see the full text, and you can do that in the other column as well. And I should talk about these two columns. So for each one of your measures, you're going to have the measure name, the current reporting period, and the previous reporting period. The current reporting period, you can edit and add information. The previous reporting period is grayed out. You're not going to be able to change that. That is there for your reference. So you'll be able to do a side-by-side comparison of what happened last year and what happened in the last reporting period and what happened in the current reporting period. Once you get below all the subsections, you're going to come to the comments field. This is a form comment. So the comment that you put in on step 1 will be visible. In step 1 will be visible on all the steps in the form. And also we have the option for you to attach files. Let's say you had some documentation that would support the activity that you're reporting, give more evidence of the activity that you're reporting. You can upload those files by clicking on the upload file option. That's going to take you to the Windows Explorer, where you'll select the document or documents that you are uploading. And as they upload, you'll get a check mark for each one. And when all the files are done uploading, the done button becomes active and you can click on it. And now you can see your files that are uploaded. If you decide you don't want to keep a file, you can remove it by clicking on the delete option. And the other action that you have is to download it. So if for some reason you needed to download it, you could go ahead and download it. So if someone else uploaded the file and you wanted a copy of it, you could download it to your computer. I'm going to go ahead and show you the delete option to delete this one. And so now we've filled out our form and we filled in all the desired information. I left one thing blank just for validation. I'm going to click next. And if a required field is not filled in, you can't move forward to the next step until that required field is filled in. Now that I've filled that in and all the other required fields and all the other desired information, I click next and I'm taken to the next step. From this step, I have the option to go back to the main screen or go through and fill in this information on this step. I'm just going to scroll down. The first time that you log in, some of these fields, like this subsection, it says, please select at least one option. If you check one of the options, then that message goes away. And when we come down to the comment section, we can see a comment that we made in step 1 is here in step 2. As I mentioned, these comments are visible throughout all steps in the form, and the document that we uploaded in step 1 is visible in step 2 and through all excuse me, all steps in the form. I can, if I don't want to save the changes I've made, I'm not ready to move forward, I need to get more information before I can fill in this section, or for whatever reason I'm not ready to fill it in yet, I can click next and go back to the previous screen. Or as I said before, I always have the option to click on the back to main screen button. And that brings us back to the main screen. And now we can see that this form is no longer not started, it is now in progress. And I'm going to leave this form. I'm going to go back up to our HSD Performance Reports tab. And I'm looking at my in progress forms. I'm going to go to the form that has changed, that is change requested. I'm going to open that form. And we can see that in this form, we have that tracking ID number, the submit for approval button, the in the header. When we expand it, we can see all the information, including the submitted date. It was submitted earlier today, and then change was requested by the project officer. And so I can keep that open or collapse it, and I can come down to this section and I can edit this and save my changes, or I can, it's complete now, so I could just go ahead and submit it for approval. I'm not going to make any changes to it because it is complete. I'm going to come up and click the submit for approval button. And when I click that button, this window opens up, the submit for approval window, and there's a comments option. The comments are optional. They're not required, but they are encouraged to help your project officer and the rest of the HRSA staff better understand your approval, what you're requesting in your approval process. I'm just going to put in something simple like, and then once you've put in the comment that's optional, click submit. And now that we've submitted this report, you'll notice that on the upper right, the Submit for Approval button is no longer there. And you'll also notice that down in the grantee data entry section, you no longer have the option to edit this report. You can view it in read-only mode and go through the report and view the various steps and scroll through, but you're not going to be able to edit this report because it's already been submitted for approval. And if you just wanted to see one step or two steps, but not the whole thing, you always can click on the back to the main screen button. And at this point, this report has now been submitted to your project officer for their review, and they're going to review it and give you their verdict of approving it or requesting a change. And so that is our performance reports. If I click on the performance reports tab again now, my in-progress reports, I only have the one. If I switch my list view to submitted, now, whereas before I didn't have any submitted reports, now this one, 102, is submitted. So that's the current status for that. So now I want to go to the next tab, and that is the Data Extracts tab. When I click on that, that's going to open up the Data Extracts window. It defaults to open on the recent reports, where you're going to see the reports that are available for you within Salesforce. I recommend clicking on all reports. That way you see all the reports that are available for you when you're logged in to the data collection platform. In this case, we have the Grantee Raw Data Report. My colleague Sudhanshu mentioned this earlier. This report shows you the information that's been put into a performance report by your organization. And it shows you not just one of your performance reports, but all the performance reports that you have in the system that you're either currently working on, have worked on in the past, will all be listed there. So you will see all of your, by your grantee name, there it is there. This case is the Department of Health, Wyoming. All of the reports for this particular grantee are listed here, these performance reports. And as you scroll through to the right on the performance reports, once you get past the tracking ID column, you're going to start to see all of the fields, the information that you entered into Salesforce in all of the fields that are there, and it's in order that you entered it into the system. So if you wanted to see the data in your reports as you entered it into the system, you just keep scrolling to the right. I'm going to back up here. This is one of those fields where we can enter in comments. These comment fields, these description fields can be up to 2,000 characters. When you're looking at the report in this form in the system, it's not going to show you all 2,000 characters in that particular field. It's going to show you a truncated version. You do have the option to export these documents or these reports or this report, and I'm going to get into that in just a minute. And when you export the report, the exported version will show the entire entry in that particular field. All 2,000 characters will be represented. Let's see. The other thing I wanted to mention is that when you're looking at these reports, you're only going to be as a grantee, you're only going to be able to see your grantee, your organization's reports. One grantee organization cannot see the raw data entry reports that include data from another grantee organization. You can't see other people's information, and they can't see your information. You only see your own. So now let's talk about exporting this report. So you have the report, it's got all your data in it. You may want to get it off the screen and put it somewhere where you can manipulate it, work with it, or keep it for your own records. You have the export option up here to the right. You'll click on export, and the export window will open, and you'll have your choice of export views, the formatted report view or the details only view. The formatted report view will show it pretty much as you're seeing it on the screen. If there's been any calculations done, any summations of any character, any columns or any rows, that will be captured in the formatted version. The details only version will just show the information as it was entered in each field. No calculations, no combinations of fields, no sorting by particular fields and things like that. If you choose the formatted report view, then your format option is limited to the Excel format .xlsx. If you choose the details only export view, then you have a few format options. You have the Excel format XLS, the Excel format XLSX, and the comma delimited, I don't like saying delimited, the comma delimited .csv file option. Whichever one you choose, you'll choose one and click the export button, and this report will be exported to your computer in the Windows Explorer field. You'll see it in your downloads folder in Windows Explorer. And that is everything I wanted to show you in the data collection platform. I'm going to turn it back over to Sudhanshu, and we'll take any questions that you have.
Thank you, Jerry. So anyone has any questions? All right, we'll take this silence as a no. If no other questions, just to give a quick summary of what we have discussed. So as part of this kickoff demo meeting invite, we will be sharing all the user acceptance testing related documents this evening, which will have the UAT scripts, which is a step-by-step description of how a participant can use the system, the UAT data sheet, which will have the login URL and login credential details for the participants to log in. There will be a pre-UAT requisite how you can log in or create an account in testlogin.gov website. So all this documentation along with the kickoff slide and recording will be shared this evening. Once you receive an email, feel free to start testing the system. In case of any issues, any blocker, reach out to us via email or the support sessions which are going to get started tomorrow. We'll be sending out the meeting invites this evening for the support session as well. Again, happy testing, everyone. Looking forward for a great UAT. Any questions, any concern? All right, if no other questions, we are right at 3 p.m. Thank you everyone for joining the call today. Thank you for your time. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.